New recording here. Come back over to our drawing. Close that. I'm going to create a working drawing, so I'm going to hit the plus sign, create drawing. I'm going to keep this stupid simple for us. Keep it as Nancy A inch, and then we're going to change it because we don't want inch, we want millimeter. So it's going to ask me, what part do you want to insert? I don't care about that right now. I don't even care that this part's open here. What I care about is this little wrench. I'm going to click on the wrench. I'm going to change my units to millimeters. I'm going to change my precision if I need to. I think most of my dimensions are with no decimal place. So I'm going to put it at 0. I'm going to click the wrench again. It's going to close it down. What I want to do is I want to show you how to go about modifying your title block so that everything looks correct. One of the things you have to do in this drawing is you have to add in your HutchTech image. So I'm going to click on Insert Image. Your HutchTech image should show up immediately. If it doesn't, it means that you never imported it into the actual drawing. I can show you how to do that if you need it. So the next thing it's going to do is it's going to ask you to pick a place to place it. I'm just going to simply arbitrarily pick somewhere. There's my part. Hey, guess what? It's a little too big, so I can grab on the corner of it. Now it's a little too small. I can left click hold, and I can kind of adjust it. If you zoom in on it a little bit better, you have a little bit better control of it. Just be careful because sometimes the snap points will kind of mess with you a little bit. That's nice looking. So I'm going to select on the part. I'm going to do a Control C and a Control V. Weirdly enough, Onshape does not have the ability to right click and copy, but it has the ability to right click and paste. Why? I don't know. Weird anomaly. So I'm just going to take and place my other logo right here. Next, I want to put the HutchTech name in here. So I'm going to use the Note command, and I'm just going to simply place the Note command. I'm going to type in really poorly in all lower cases. I'm going to type in Hutchinson Central Technical High School, spelling Hutchinson correctly. You'll notice right now I've got a big problem here where my text is like jamming on the 4 or 5 different lines. I have the ability to use this push-pull right here, left-click hold, and now I can adjust my text so that it fits into that space a little bit better. Don't forget that you're going to use center alignment. If you want to change the text color, highlight all of your text, find this big black box. The maroon that I used is going to be this all the way down at the bottom. Go ahead and green check mark it. If you want to make it bold, go ahead and make it bold. Green check mark it. If you want to change the text, you can change the text. Just note that sometimes if you change the font, it's not going to fit in there as nicely, and you might have to modify the font characters. A couple things I want you to note in the title block. Number 1, you're going to see a spot for the weight. Each part has a specific weight that has been given to it. So if I come over here and let's say I'm going to do the wheel. I select on this wheel, I click on the weight here. I now have the weight showing up here. Control C to copy it. I'm going to find my drawing, and then I'm going to double click on this weight. I'm going to do a Control V. This weight is going to be the same weight that you are going to put in your quiz. The only difference on your quiz, you're only using the numbers. No spaces, no ounces. No labels or anything like that. If you use any of those spaces or the ounces when you do your quiz, it's going to mark it wrong. And I only want the rounded up value that Onshape gives you. If you hover over the actual weight, it's actually going to give you a mass that's a little bit more precise. I don't care what that precise is. Okay. All right. Green check mark it. You are also going to be filling in your material and you're going to be filling in your finish. Your scale should automatically update for you. These dashes, remember that pick the one that you want to work with, delete the rest of them. Sheet numbers, make sure it's something of, there should be 6 sheets altogether. Now, let's see here. When it comes to your wheel, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to just do this drawing here for the wheel because it has the most amount of information that I need to talk about and cover with you guys. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, select on my wheel. I'll let it think about it for a second. It is currently choosing the wrong orientation, so I'm going to change it from front. I'll change it to left. I'm going to change the scale of it so that it is 1:1. I don't really know what the real scale is. There's my first part. And I'm going to hit escape. The reason why I'm going to hit escape is because I don't want a view over here. All right. Now, I guess technically I could have, let me back up here for a second. Let me do this a little different. Technically, I could have done this a little differently. I could go insert view, again, change it so that I am wheel, change it from that to that. I'm going to place the part just like I did before. And this time, I'd like to get the isometric of it. Now, I'm just going to place the isometric for now and call it done. I need to change the size of it later on. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on the actual isometric. And I think a lot of our scaled isometrics are about a 1:3 ratio or a 1:4 ratio. Okay. Green check mark it. I'm going to zoom in here. And I'm not going to try to move everything. I just want to move. Let me do that because I kind of messed up the title block. So now I've got my little isometric in the corner. One of the things is my isometric was shown in color, correct? This one's black and white still. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and then I'm going to go show hide and then I'm going to change it to show shaded view. Boom. Now, Jillian, what are you working on? Okay. So next thing I'm going to do is I want to go ahead and create my section view. In order to create the section view, I'm going to find underneath projected, I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to find something called section view. Sectioning something is nothing more than cutting a chunk out of it, seeing what it's made out of. I'm going to go right dead center and I want to cut the object right in half. I'm going to slide over to my right. And then you will notice that it's going to take my object, it's going to slice it in half, and it's going to put all these angled lines in there. Those angled lines are called hatch marks. And what they are nothing more than an indicator of, if you think about it, if you took a saw and you were to cut through a piece of material, each time you cut with that saw, it's going to leave a little indicator or a little scratch or a little mark. So those are technically its saw marks of wherever you see the saw marks, that's where the saw blade was touching the material and cutting it. Any place you don't see that, well, guess what? The saw blade didn't cut it. So you can kind of get cross section of it nice and easy. One of the things that we want to do with this drawing is we want to make sure that it is a simplified view. It's not complex. Right now, this is complex. It's got a lot of tangent lines to it. And what I mean by that is when I have a circle, I'm always, especially a fillet, I'm given that I have a starting point for the fillet and I have a stopping point for that fillet. In our views, it's shown as those being the start and stop points to it. I don't want them, so I'm going to turn them to hidden. It's going to clean up my drawing. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to turn those to hidden. Cleans my drawing right up. I also need to add a detail view for this drawing. So I'm going to come over to where my section view was. I'm going to scroll down to detailed view. We've done detailed views before. Pick a spot, draw a circle around it. And then if you need to change your scale, change your scale. Okay. So now I got my detail view. Now I can put my dimensions on. Speaking about dimensioning, if I need to draw a center line for anything, I can draw center lines. If I need to show hidden lines, I can right click and I can go show hidden lines. I can also right click and I can go show center marks if I need to show those. Okay, same thing here. Show center lines. Okay. Now, let's say I need to indicate what this radius is here. I can come out of my dimension and I can do a radius. Select on the radius here. Now I can put the radius on. All right. If I need to do something a little bit fancier. Oh my goodness, stop. If I need to do diameter dimensions, I can go under my dimensions and I can do diameter. I can place those wherever they need to be. If I needed to add notes to any of my diameters or any of my information or any of my dimensions, I've got a note in our actual instructions that explains to you this box right here will take and put text after my dimension. If I want text to show up underneath my dimension, I can put it here and it'll show up. Do not, I repeat, do not modify your dimensions numbers here. Okay, don't try changing it. The reason why I say don't try changing it is because what will happen is you'll get an underlined value, and I know right there and then that you modified the dimension and it's not correct. All right. Now, one last thing I do want to cover with you guys is if I do need to do like a footnote for something. Let me bring up another drawing here. I'm going to show you how to copy this working drawing because I've already done all this work to my title block. I want to make sure that I can keep it for the next one. So I'm going to right click, duplicate. There's my duplicate drawing. It takes a second or two to load. I don't want any of this information anymore. I can select it, delete it. Let me go ahead and bring in one of the parts that I need to indicate a chamfer on. My post that needs a chamfer. I'm going to go ahead and change the scale so that it is something a little bit bigger. Okay, there's my right side view. Well, that's my other view of it. That's not really what I want. I'm going to go isometric, so I'm just going to slide up a little bit. I'm going to place it. And then what I want is I want to have another view here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this view so that it is going to be, let's just say, the top. Okay. So now you'll notice that it changes a couple things here, modifies the way my object looks. Is there anything wrong with the way it looks? No. It's just a different orientation. But I needed to be able to see the circles. So right here again, just as a review, I can double click. I can change the size of my object. Left click hold allows me to move it. Right click, show hide shaded version. This piece here, I want to show the center lines to it. Okay, I've already got a center line over here. I need to dimension, let's say, a diameter. Very easy. Come over here, again, diameter, pick out my diameter. If I need to indicate the chamfer, I can select chamfer dimension, and now I can pick, I have to pick two references. One is always going to be your chamfer angle, and then another is just going to be a simple line that you want. Obviously, I want my chamfer to indicate the acute version, so it's the smaller than 90 version, rather than the larger than 90, the obtuse. So you will see right here, now I have my value. I can double click on it. If I need to change my decimals, just go ahead, change it. So now that we have our value changed, I think there's supposed to be something written on here to say 45, and I think it says chamfer after it. Okay. If you needed to, for some reason, if you need to create like a little footnote for something, you can click on your note. I can select on my line, and then I can just simply move over, left click, and now I can type in whatever I need to type in. Let's say I need to type in, I want to do that chamfer, but I want to do it a little differently. I can do 1 by 45. And then instead of using the diameter symbol, I select on the degree symbol, and then I can type in chamfer. Do both of them do the same thing? Yes. Does this one take just a couple seconds longer? Yes. But if I had no idea how to do that, I could easily create it. So just keep those things in mind, okay? Let's see here. Is there anything else that I can think of? I think that's it. Just remember, always making sure that your units are changed, and then clicking on the wrench again to close that out. Don't forget to make sure that your title block is completely filled out. I do not want to see you typing in weight in ounces. No. Okay, that's like you typing in last name, first name, instead of what your actual last name or first name is. Everybody got it? Any questions?